Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. So today I have my 4 favorite lipsticks for you, and I'm really excited to share them because they're not just appropriate for fall, they're appropriate for any season, but particularly in the fall because they are in the theme of sort of mauves and berries and kind of muted pinks, and it's just, complementary to the season. And I have tried them on as well, and I will insert photos as we go along in the video, and hopefully that will give you a better idea of like how they look. Now do note that they are going to look different on you, possibly because I have darker lips, and so I've really tailored colors, and I've found out what sort of consistencies and formulas work best for my lips, because my lips are naturally kind of dark red to the brown side. So if you have similar coloring, then you know this is going to be like the list for you. So grab a paper and pen. So the first one I want to talk to you about is this one, which is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the color Cannes, as in Cannes. And this is by far my favorite color. It is a matte cream lipstick, but does not feel drying on your lips. It is so beautiful. It kind of just covers your lips flawlessly, makes your lips look so pouty, and is just such a neutral, warm color. So I'll have a swatch for you on my hand as well, so you can see what the color is. So it's a really nice rosy brown, but a more brighter color and more rosy than brown, if that makes sense. But I just love the way that it just covers your lips. It's matte, as I said, it's not drying, and you can kind of put this on throughout the day and it doesn't kind of like crease up or dry in corners or kind of like makes your skin kind of slough off. It's just really, really beautiful. I love this. This is my favorite color. Then I will talk about another NYX. This is the Butter Gloss in the shade Tiramisu. And this Michelle gave me, and I absolutely love it. So this is perfect for you guys who don't want to wear a matte lipstick, but you still want to have that plumpness, kind of in the same color family, and you want to try something a little bit more affordable. The NYX range is the go-to product. So here you can see it's a lot more nuder. It is glossy and it is a lighter pink. And this gloss is perfect to put over nude lip glosses when they're too nude and you want them to be a little bit more pink, or when you have a brown lipstick and you want to make it a little bit more bright. It's just a really, really great shade. And yeah, they're gorgeous. So since we're kind of going into the drugstore ones, I'll continue on. This shade is the Maybelline 950 Untainted Spice. Comes in this packaging. This looks darker than it is on your lips. So as you can see, it looks quite brown, a little reddish brown, but when you swatch it, you can see the sort of like raisiny color that it is. So I guess it's quite similar to the Bullet, actually, in saying that. Yeah, actually it's pretty accurate. I really think it's like a raisiny, cinnamony color. Gorgeous. And then if you want that kind of same family but maybe a little bit more purple mauve, then 660 Touch of Spice, which is the matte collection from Maybelline, is the one that you want to go for. And I really like this because it's very, very comparable to the first color I mentioned, which is the NYX Cannes. So here is the Maybelline one, the Touch of Spice, and that is Cannes by NYX. So you can see they're really, really similar in color. Just the Touch of Spice is a little bit more mauve. So if you can't get your hands on one, then you're, in saying that, like, they're both very different though, and that's only, I think, a true lipstick addict will understand that. They're in the same family, they are all in the same family, but you can kind of just tell the difference. And I really, really like this. This, again, like the NYX one, just gives you a really beautiful matte, full coverage finish without being drying. It's so smooth on the lips. you can kind of glide. With the NYX, it stays a little bit longer. This one glides a lot more, but it doesn't slip off. And I feel like throughout the day, I do touch up and it does transfer. But if you kind of put it on, blot it, and then reapply, it just stays a little bit longer. And I feel like it just really completes your look. It really ties in everything together. It makes you look like you've put in more effort than you have. The last one from Revlon is my newest one, and this is the Revlon Ultra HD Matte Lip Color. Again, another matte, and this is in the shade Devotion, I believe. Yes, 600 HD Devotion. And when you don't have to, even if you don't like mattes, you can still wear a matte lipstick and put a gloss over it. And these mattes aren't true mattes. The mattes have been reformulated now. They're really not as bad as you think. And this is stunning. This is like the brightest color, rosy, beautiful. It has a really nice shine to it, even though it's a matte. So you can tell these are not matte mattes. They're more of a semi-matte or a satiny finish, but this one's a lot more glossier. And it just really, these matte formulations really plump up your lips and give you such a perfect pout. And they are so work appropriate as well. I'm all about that because obviously in my field of work, I can't come in with like such a bright lip or like a red lip and things like that. Just not in the place that I work. Maybe other places you can. But for me, I don't feel like it's as professional. I don't like it because I'm always talking, I'm always drinking, I'm always eating. So I don't want the effort, like to go through the effort of having to constantly check my lipstick, make sure that it's not bleeding or it's like drying in the center or it's kind of half smudged or down on my chin, So I've really tried to pick out colors that I can wear genuinely and really make use of and can carry me from day to night. So, I might wear like a more of a glossy, nuder color in the day and then carry one that's a little bit darker in the evening. And I'm good to go. I love those. So you can kind of tell the color families that I'm into and very fall appropriate. Then the last two drugstore ones are the L'Oreal Lip Lilacs, and these are so perfect. These are probably my most worn to work lip combos. So this one is Choco-laque, and that's the shade 209, number 209. And not only are they skinny and portable, but they just last so well. So that is Lilac here. So it's a beautiful pink. And on my lips, it looks very muted. It almost looks nude. It kind of brings my colors down to like a subdued, nude, natural pink color. So swatched on my hand, it looks a lot different. So if you look at my Instagram photos and I've like mentioned this color, you can see what it looks like. But again, you can see in the pictures as I'm talking how it looks on my lips. And this is the most work appropriate, the most nude out of the drugstore ones that I have. And I just love the consistency. It's a beautiful shine, it's not slippery, and it lasts a long, long time. So I decided to get another color, and this is the 201 in a Laque Charm. And this is just a lot more brighter, and it's a little bit more rosy. So Laque Charm, you can see, is like a true kind of muted raspberry color, berry color. It is gorgeous. And again, this, when you look on my lips, it looks beautiful. They're really, really beautiful shades, and I just love how long they last on the lips. They're definitely worth getting. Okay, so then finally I'm into the non-drugstore items, and for those who don't like a lipstick, for those who don't like a matte lipstick or any sort of lipstick at all, and like some more of a lip balmy, sort of maybe a little bit more of a gloss feel, this is the one to go for. This is the Clarins Instant Light Natural Lip Perfector, and I think this is in the shade 6. They have very different shades, like an orangey one, a peachy one, sort of a very, very pink one. And I know the pink one's very popular, but don't miss out on this one. I really, really love it. And I feel like no one talks about this color because I think they naturally see the tube and they think it's going to be far too dark on them. So that is what it looks like there. And it actually looks kind of very weak on as a swatch. And it looks just like a very nude sort of see-through color. But on the lips, it just kind of like corrects the tone of your lips. So if you have very uneven toned lips, so darker on the outside or lighter in the inside or kind of speckledy, and you just want like a natural, flawless, even tone, these Clarins ones are so good, and it just feels balmy and it feels hydrating and glossy, but not to the point where it sticks and smears everywhere. And it's definitely a great one if you are starting to wear darker colors or you're starting to wear lip products and you don't want to look like bam, suddenly you're just wearing a lipstick and you feel like kind of uncomfortable, because I know it takes a while to get used to it. This is the one you should go for first. And anytime you're wearing the lipstick and you feel kind of a little bit like it's too much, put one of these on top and it just kind of like mutes it out and just makes it easier to wear. So I love it. And then I have a buxom gloss. I've talked about this before. This is the Jessica shade, and it is a beautiful pink with little bits of shimmer in there. And I love wearing this to work as well. This gives a more plumping effect. It again is a sheer color, but it has color to it too, so it's not like a waste of money. So that is Jessica right there. And it is a great, great color. It plumps my lips. It gives me a mentally feeling and mentally kind of like aftertaste as such. So I feel fresher, and it's just an easy one to just pop over your lips when you feel like after work or after lunch you've eaten and you don't have time to kind of like put a lipstick on and go through the whole like trying to cover it up evenly. You can just kind of like dot this on a little bit and you're good to go. So that's what I've been using it for. And I really, really like it. All these shades, they're just stunning, aren't they? They're gorgeous. And then finally, two products. This one, it's not necessarily the shade, and I know this is limited edition, so it's going to be hard to find. But this again is, this is a matte lipstick. This is from the Toledo collection in Oxblood. It is a matte lipstick, but just a nude. A nude is perfect for the fall, and especially like a muted peachy color. So that is what that looks like, and I love this effect. It again is so smoothing. As I said, the matte formulations have really changed over the years. They're just not as drying. They are such full coverage, and this color is such a bright nude. And what I like to do is sometimes put this butter gloss in Tiramisu over it if I feel like I'm just a bit too nuded out, and they're very similar. So that is that with the NYX butter gloss on top, the Tiramisu, and you can just see what a difference that made. Let me swatch it by itself again so you can compare. So it's just become a little bit more pinky, maybe a little bit more wearable. It's fabulous. And then once that wears off, you've got the Oxblood underneath, and it just kind of gives you like a nice staying power. And then finally, I have a Chanel Rouge Coco, because not everybody is into the mauves, the nudes, the mattes, the sort of, like kind of more subdued colors. Someone wants a bright color. I am like that. I'll wear any color, any season. And this is probably one of my favorite ones. This is Taffeta Rose, and I talk about this a lot. It is stunning. It is a beautiful classic lipstick. And I feel like it has a good amount of like a bluish undertone to where your teeth look white. Your lips look vibrant. It is stunning. And here it is right there. And it is a beautiful color. On my lips, I think it looks even more vibrant. Here it looks more red. Whereas I think on my lips, it looks a lot more pinky and packs a punch. And you can't go wrong with a Chanel lipstick. I think most, if not all, the formulas are like my favorite. I just love the way they feel. I love the staying power of these. The packaging you can't go wrong with. It's just that classic packaging. It's weighty. Yeah, I love all these colours. So as you can see, Taffeta's Rose and the Lilac in Laque Charms is very similar. Very similar, but this just has a sort of more of a satiny finish, and I feel like is a little bit more kind of metallic in finish as well. So those are my 4 favourite lipsticks. Let me know down below if there are any lipsticks that you think I would absolutely love now that you see the kind of style that I go for. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.